Has success changed how you viewed it before having the baby, how you viewed it while on maternity leave, and now that you're back to work full time? Has it changed?
Yes, it has. I think recently, when I say recently, I mean recent of yesterday, I had to make like a very big decision with regards to my career, based on the fact that I now have a child.
So the last time you were here, you were on maternity leave, I remember.
Yeah.
Now that you're back to work, can you just give us a short summary of how things are going?
Can I use just one word? Is where.
Where?
Yes, 1,000 words a minute.
You know, when you said you never got to a point where you're like, I quit. As someone, okay, I haven't been employed before per se, but I remember when I was pregnant, I was so sure if I was working for anyone, I would have walked in there, put my resignation letter, and walk away. Do we glamorize motherhood or pregnancies in such a way that we forget what it actually means to be pregnant and to have a child?
I think we do. And I think for me, it's the, you know, the way people say mimba si ugonjwa. I think unless unless you've ever been pregnant, and unless you've ever had like the kind of pregnancy the person who's sick is having, then you would never understand. You would never understand, because
Hi guys, I'm Rachel Anita, your host of the Review podcast. With me today is someone who's not only meeting deadlines but also changing diapers. As you know, we always talk about women's wellness, and today we want to focus on the invisible load of motherhood when it comes to finances. And who better to cover this topic with me today than the one and only? You've seen her once, you've seen her twice, and today, making the third time on our podcast, is Selpha, Ahamuru, Mama Lapsy. Wewe ni Mama Lapsy ama wewe ni Lapsy? Mama Lulai mwenyewe, shangwe na vigelegele hapo ndani, insert. Kama uko peke yako fanya. So Lapsy, tell us, how are you? How are you kwanza?
I'm fine. I'm doing good. Life is good.
Life is good?
Yes.
The last time you were here, you just become a mom. How are you feeling now about that?
I'm feeling good. I think in my head, I thought like the older they grow, the easier it gets. But I think with every age comes different dynamics. Yeah, because like maybe when they're a newborn, your anxiety is mostly around keeping them alive, you know, and like the sleepless nights and everything. But now the older they grow, the more attached they become, the more you have to intentionally spend time with them. And I can only imagine that now the older they grow, the more everything shifts. So I don't think like there's like it gets easier. I guess like things just easier. Like seasons and changes, like you just have to adapt as a mom. Yeah.
So the last time you were here, you were on maternity leave, I remember.
Yeah.
Now that you're back to work, can you just give us a short summary of how things are going?
Can I use just one word? Is where. Where? Yes, 1,000 words a minute. But I'm really, really grateful because my bosses have been really amazing and have supported me throughout this transition. So yeah, it's heavy. Some days are heavier than others, but I'm really grateful and I thank God because it hasn't yet gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, I quit, I'm done, leave me alone. Yeah, I don't think I've gotten to that point. And I think it's because of the support of my employer, my bosses, and also like my nanny as well, and my partner, because I think it takes a village.
It literally does take a community and a village.
Yes, because then like if you have a good nanny, it means when you're at work, you're not stressed, you're not thinking, oh my God, that person is not good with the baby, like maybe they're not okay, is the baby okay, and all that. And nowadays, even when I go to work, I try not to call as much, because I remember like right after maternity leave, that's one of the things I really struggled with. Like
I warned you and I told you.
Yeah, I would call every 30 minutes. Umekula, anafanya nini? Yeah. But then you know, like right now I usually say, when I leave the house, I say, Auntie, I'm going to work. If there's an emergency, call me. If anything goes wrong, call me. But unless the house is on fire.
One rule: unless the house is on fire, you can always call someone else.
Yes.
So if I'm out of the house, I am out of the house.
Yeah. And I think that helps because, you know, at the end of the day, with your career and everything, you also and your life. And because I think one of the things that I've learned the hard way in this season is you cannot be 100% present for your child if you're not 100% present for yourself. Yes, because kids need the best version of you.
Yeah.
And you also need to be the best version of yourself to be able to give them the best version. So also pouring into your cup. I think that's one of the things I've had to learn. I think, I even had a problem like leaving the house. I never used to leave the house. I used to go literally everywhere I'm going grocery shopping. Mtoto nimemfunga kwa kasi, we are going. I'm going to, I don't know, for a date. I'm going on a date.
I would actually specifically ask you to leave your baby.
Yeah, leave the baby.
Come on a date.
Yeah, but nowadays I leave her and I don't feel guilty because I think initially it was like the guilt. But I think for me, like one thing I've learned is that I also need to take care of myself to be able to take care of her. Yes.
Which brings me to this question. Has success changed how you viewed it before having the baby, how you viewed it while on maternity leave, and now that you're back to work full time? Has it changed?
Yes, it has. I think recently, when I say recently, I mean recent of yesterday, I had to make like a very big decision with regards to my career, based on the fact that I now have a child. Yes, I think for me initially success looked like me earning like X amount of money, driving this kind of car, being like this like senior person in my organization and things like that. But for me now success looks like everything. Like there's a bigger picture. Like success is not just about money. Success is about, is my child thriving? Is my family thriving? Is my home okay? Is my home doing well? Okay, I'm earning this amount of money. How can I now supplement my income? Not like blow it out of proportion. And then even if I'm blowing out of proportion, at what cost? At what cost? If it involves like me being in office like 12 hours a day, working 12 hours a day, this other side will suffer. Yeah. And I think I used to really like wonder why someone would quit their job like to take care of their child. But like now, being there, I think there's someone who told me a statement. You'll only understand why people make certain decisions when you're there. Yeah. And you sit here and you think, wow, because like recently, like as I'm saying, as recent as yesterday, I had to like turn down a job which was giving me like more than double of what I'm earning now, but the hours were not worth it.
They're not suitable.
Like you just sit and think to yourself, okay, this money is good money, but like, is it life-changing money? Am I willing to sacrifice my family or my child's well-being or my home? Like, am I willing to sacrifice that for this kind of money? And then also asking myself, let me think about it. It's like over 100% what I'm earning now. 1 year down the line, I'll probably want more money. Like, what other sacrifice will I need to make then?
Yeah, for
me to, So it's not just success starts looking more like you start looking at the bigger picture.
It's not more than just the money.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah.
When you said you never got to a point where you're like, I quit. As someone, I haven't been employed before per se, but I remember when I was pregnant, I was so sure if I was working for anyone, I would have walked in there, put my resignation letter, and walk away. Do we glamorize motherhood or pregnancies in such a way that we forget what it actually means to be pregnant and to have a child?
I think we do. And I think for me, it's the way people say mimba si ugonjwa. I think unless you've ever been pregnant and unless you've ever had like the kind of pregnancy the person who's sick is having, then you would never understand. You would never understand, because remember, also pregnancies are difficult. And I think for me in this season, I thank God for my bosses. I don't know if it's maybe easier because they're also dads, but then they've been very supportive. Because I remember even during my pregnancy, I had quite a difficult pregnancy. When I got to like around 4 months, 5 months, I was really struggling, and they could see that I was really struggling. And they said, you know what, Selpha, go home, work from home until you get the baby. I remember like even one of my bosses said, bye, see you next year. Like, let me see you next year. I don't want to see you. Home. Just go home. You just go home. And like, I'm really grateful that I've gotten to experience that. And it's sad that not everyone experiences that. And even after maternity leave, when I came, I think that's like the only point I wanted to quit it hadn't like gotten to that, but like there was a possibility of me not being able to work from home after I came back from maternity leave. And I remember like I was speaking to one of my bosses and I told him, I'm thinking of quitting because I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I'm not sure I can be able, because I think this was the second day. The first day I went to work, I stayed for 2 hours. I went back home. Second day I went to work and I told him, I feel like I want to quit. I don't think I can do this. And there's something he told me. He told me like, how do you want me to support you, or how do you want us to support you so that you keep on doing you? And there's something.
Can you tell us where you work so that we can apply Jamani? Because the stories I'm hearing out here.
Yeah,
after
and
people give
for me,
birth,
I would say
leave.
it's privilege for me. It's when you think about it, it shouldn't be privilege. It should be how you treat someone when they come back from maternity leave, because like it's a whole. Like pregnancy is traumatic, giving birth is traumatic, your body goes through a lot. Like there's mommy brain, there's all these things, there's so much. And I remember like he told me like, if we give you this, I said I want to work from home. He said if you work from home, will you be comfortable, will you be happy? And he said this, you can quit. I can't prevent you from quitting. I can't like force you to stay here, but you can quit. Then 2 years down the line, like a lot would have moved. Like, where do you start from? I'm not saying you won't start. I'm not saying you won't figure out. But like, if you're already kind of now feeling lost, now imagine 2 years into that.
You'll even be worse.
You'll even be worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talking of situations changing, what was your biggest shock financially after giving birth?
I think I would say everything. Let me just say everything. Let me say
everything.
When I say everything, this is what I mean. Yeah. Like before you have a child, in your head you're thinking, okay, like one packet of diapers is 2,000. It's
not that much. I mean, how many diapers can a tiny baby use?
Exactly. So now, first of all, you're thinking now we need to move to a bigger house because now we have another person, and then we also have a nanny. And then remember now, when you have a child, like there's more people coming in and out of your house, and now you need to also accommodate them and make sure they're feeling comfortable. So there's all these things. But when you think about them like that, it's like, okay, we would have moved to a bigger house anyway. We would have had extra rooms anyway. But then now when it comes to like actually the daily everything of
the daily runnings,
daily runnings of now taking care of a baby, a home with a baby, there's like just so much dynamics. And now let me also talk about like, it also depends on the season that or the age your child is in, because before weaning we would only think, okay, diapers, okay, mafuta, okay, this and this and this. Like now you have like an extra mouth to feed, of course the nanny and all that. You have an employee, so that's like salary and all that. And then now you come to weaning.
You've forgotten something. There's formula
for moms who can't
have milk.
And I know like those babies, they soon do that thing.
Let me tell you, if you ever hear, there's one thing, when you're going to visit a new mom, now usikie tu ana nini formula,
mpeleke tu mkebe mbili.
Wachana na kununua sijui dress, sijui what.
Nguo
ya mtoto tuko nayo. Diaper. And what was that? Formula. It really goes a long way.
Yeah. So like, I was talking about weaning. So when you also get to weaning, there's like different things. And then let me tell you.
They're different utensils.
There's like bibs, feeding chair, there's this, there's that. And then like maybe someone would say like, maybe this is from like a point of luxury, but then some of the things like you're like, okay, this is essential to me. And you see, the thing is, you could be doing like bare minimum according to you, but someone else's bare minimum is not your bare minimum. So like depending on your bare minimum,
that should be on a t-shirt. Someone else's bare minimum is not my bare minimum.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And you see, the thing is, for you maybe something essential would be like what, like 10 sets of plates, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So like there's all these things. And then now let me give you an example. So there's when babies start weaning, they take like bio yogurt. That's what is advised.
Yeah.
That small thing is like, I think it's like 90 bob.
Yeah, the
tiny one. And then guess what?
They need like 2
when you dip that spoon there and you give that baby and they refuse, now you can't now say, okay, I'll keep it and then they'll take it later, because you've already dipped the spoon. The mate has already gone into that. So it's either ufungue tumbo, you take it, or
just buy another one.
Yeah, or buy another, or get another one. So there's all this, and then they need to like take a fruit twice a day. They need to take like a protein, and then you also want to be variety. You also want to give them variety. You also don't want your baby eating. I remember I was talking to a mom before I started weaning, and she told me something: invest in your baby's feeding, because for her she used to sit and then say, okay, today we're eating butternut. Then what? Like what next? Like butternut.
Yeah, then
what? Yeah.
And they need a proper balanced diet.
Exactly. And you also want to like give variety so that they also don't get bored. Because
something you've forgotten, the bottles. Can you just tell us a story about those bottles? Because people forget how expensive
bottles are. And you need to keep changing the teats,
the teats every 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just tell us about your bottle story, because I found that an interesting concept, that what you went through while figuring out the bottle for your child.
Yeah, it was a lot, because I remember initially we started with I think we had Avent initially, and then
can you just tell them how much Avent is per bottle?
No, let me tell you something interesting. When we did Avent, it's the day I went out, the first time I left her, and she took the bottle. I didn't know that you need to like do the bottle consistently for them to get used to the bottle.
Yeah.
So for me, the fact that she took the bottle once or twice, I was like, yeah, she knows what a bottle is. Then again, I tried a bottle 2 months after that. Like now when she was 3 months old, like when I was about to go back to work. And I think the babe was looking at me like, girl, what is this?
Go find something
else to do. What? Exactly. And so for us, like we started with Avent. And then we were like, okay, so our Avent, amekata Avent, what do we take? So the good thing is that her auntie had bought us some Tommy Tippy bottles, but then she also refused the Tommy Tippy. So we were like, okay, let's try another bottle. There's the other one called Mum, like I think MUM. We tried that one. It didn't work out. I remember talking to one of my mom's
how many
friends.
bottle brands are in the market?
There's so many. I remember me talking to one of my mom friends, and she said, maybe you're going high end. Can you try those Mom Easy ones, the affordable ones, and see Mom Easy or the camera bottles and see if they work. We tried those ones. They refused. And I remember, like, my bottle story is very interesting, because I remember, like, going to bed and crying and thinking, I'm going to leave this child next week or, like, in 2 weeks' time
to go back to work,
who doesn't know how to use a bottle. I remember someone even told me to try the open cup. I tried the open cup. She refused. She refused literally everything. And I remember there's a day I went to sleep, and I said, because I'm a Christian, so I said, God, I'm going to go to sleep today, and you are going to show me the bottle that I need to use, because now what am I supposed to do? I can't figure this out and all that. And I remember when I woke up for a night feed, I went on Facebook, the way, like, before you go back to sleep, you say, okay, let me check through. Something. I saw an ad of pigeon bottle. And that's how I got, like, the pigeon bottle.
So God literally gave you the bottle to use.
Exactly, yes.
In this age and time, that sounds sinister.
I know. It sounds unrealistic. Yeah, it sounds unrealistic. But for me, I was just like,
showed you. Yeah,
like, I need guidance, and I need, like, a sign. Like, give me a sign. Like, what bottle should I use? I had never heard of the pigeon bottle. So I went to a mom group, and I was like, Mom's like, I've seen this bottle, pigeon bottle. Like, who has ever tried it, and does it work? Because, like, they advertise it, they say, oh, it's elastic, it's like the mommy's booby, and everything. So I said, let me buy one. And I remember it was delivered to your house. Yeah. So I said, let me buy one. So I tried the one bottle. Then, like, the moment we put it into her mouth, she took it. And then now, the good thing, one pigeon bottle, I bought it at 1980.
When I in a sound story, the jab.
I am not joking. I even have a video. I'm telling you, I even took a video for those doubting Thomases.
Because you will show us. We will.
She would refuse. She would refuse every bottle, but that one specifically,
the one you prayed about.
Yeah, and her nanny. Don't say the one I prayed about.
It is the one you prayed about. Is it not?
Yeah. It's that one. So that one, when her nanny gave her. Like, I remember that day when we tested it, the nanny gave her the bottle. Like, when the nanny put it in her mouth, she sucked it, like, alinyonya. Then I think alikuwa zile za, this is actually not bad. I don't think it's bad. Like, it doesn't feel so bad.
So it's okay.
And that was it. So we did that. And now the one bottle was 1980. So now remember, I have to leave like I have to leave like 3-4 bottles because remember, she's not weaning. So I have to leave like, because she needs to feed like every 2 hours. So I needed to leave like 4 or 5 bottles in a day. So I need like 4 bottles. That's like 4 or 5
almost
bottles.
like 8K.
Yes.
8 to 10K.
And then for me, I usually liked to prep my bottles. Like I usually liked to have all my bottles prepped so that when the nanny is with the baby, they just like pull one bottle from the fridge, put it in their warmer, then feed the baby. Like I didn't want a situation where they would have to like go to the freezer, start cutting things. Oh, and then again, another thing is my baby refused to take the frozen milk. So now it's like fresh pumping every day.
How were you pumping at work now?
Yes, I was pumping at work. But now the good thing is, but remember, I also just went to the office like twice. But then even to date, because my baby is still breastfeeding, I still pump when I leave the house. So I pump at work. But I'm so grateful that my employer has like a nursing room. It's like, it's a little room with a couch and like a leg rest and a little fridge and
again
microwave.
Apply huko because we love it.
Yeah, so at least you can,
Now, this is just one area of like being a mom who's a working mom. You're trying to figure this all out, trying to figure out bottles, because you can't be at work and be fully present if at home your baby is not feeding, right?
Yeah.
So once you got back to work, what are some of the systems that worked and what are some of the systems that failed you as a working mom?
Okay, let me start with right after I came from maternity leave, I was given a new role that I needed to like build from scratch.
So, they don't understand mommy brain. They don't know we are not fully functional the first 2 years of our
So there was that. And then remember, there's this new role that I've been given. And then remember, now I'm transitioning now to working from home. So I'm transitioning from, now I'm used to staying with my baby like throughout. And I remember like the first, I think 1 or 2 months, I would even get to meetings with the baby. And I think for me, it's because I was very obsessed with my child. And it was very hard for me to...
What are you saying was? Is it because you're on camera? You still are.
But like not in a healthy way. It was in a very unhealthy way, in that it was impacting me. Because I didn't want to give out the baby. Like I didn't want the baby. Because like most of the time I would be here, like the baby is here, my laptop is here, I'm trying to work, I'm in a meeting, the baby is crying, I'm feeding the baby, I'm in a meeting. And my nanny, I know she never said it, but she probably used to sit and maybe think like, doesn't this woman trust me to take care of this child? Or like what's going on? Like I would rarely give her the baby.
Trust someone in the child when they're that young.
But you see, like I'm in the house.
I imagine I understand.
Yeah, so I think for me, that's one of the things like I had to learn to delegate, because if I didn't delegate, I think I would have run mad, because then it meant like 24/7 I was always with the baby. Like I would put the baby right beside me and then be working. I would get into meetings with the baby. But I thank God, because the people I worked with gave me so much grace. Like the people I was working with gave me so much grace. Like they will be like, yes, we understand. Yes, we understand. This is, But you see, you also need to understand that sometimes grace can run out, especially like in the work setup. You understand? So today I'll be ready to like go through a meeting with your baby screaming. But like, do we want that to be like every day? So I would say like the system that didn't work or that was hard for me was the fact that like I was holding my baby. So I had to now delegate. And nowadays, sometimes I'll even, like yesterday I had meetings. I like just went and locked myself in the bedroom and said, you guys deal with that. Yeah, deal with that. Deal with whatever you guys are dealing with. Let me focus on this other side. Yes. And then nowadays, because I realized, especially because now I'm transitioning, like slowly trying to go back to the office as much, because I also realized I'm not very productive at home. So I usually go to the office a few days a week. So I realized that sometimes when I'm late, and because I did bedtimes with my baby like alone, either myself alone or me and her dad or her dad. So I realized like, what if I'm not there? Like what happens?
What happens?
Because like babies thrive in what's it called? routine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so now,
structure.
like, she'll just sit and wonder, okay, this
What's going
woman
on?
used to wash me, but now they're
What
not.
happened?
Yeah, what happened? So I started delegating that to her nanny as well, and I think that has really worked, because nowadays sometimes I'll just be sitting there chilling, and then auntie will come and say, Lula, let's go take a bath, and like I also hear her like doing the bath time, sort of like how we used to do it, like singing and playing with her and things like that. So you see, like with that, I'm very confident that even if I run late, even if I'm stuck in traffic, even if I have to travel for work, at least there's that
someone taking
there's
care
someone
of
taking
your
care
child.
of the child.
There's a term I've always had a different mindset on, or I have a difficult time reconciling the term working mom.
Yeah.
Why don't we have working dads?
Yeah.
Or is it that working moms is a new concept?
Okay. I was actually having a conversation with someone the other day, and I told this person that sometimes I feel sad. It wasn't even a person, I was in a training. Sometimes I feel sad that men, after becoming dads, their lives go back to normal. Like, you won't be walking out there thinking about your child, or even thinking about your I know they think about their kids, but like not like that.
Yeah.
You know, because for me right now, I'm sitting here in this podcast. I know I left 2 bottles of milk at home. In my head, I'm like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to be in this podcast. That milk, like, is it enough? Has my baby eaten lunch? What time is it? It's like almost 2. Like, has she gone out today? Like, has she? Yeah, I don't think men have that. I know they probably maybe think of their children like in like maybe
in a
from
general
like
perspective.
Yeah, in a general perspective.
Child.
This is my child. I love my child.
Yeah.
And recently, actually, when you mentioned about working moms, I remember talking to my boss recently, and I told him, like, one of my bosses, and I told him, with the new role that I'm working in, I'm really doubting myself. And he said, but you've never really doubted yourself. Like, you're one of the people who really doesn't have, who really has imposter syndrome. And then he mentioned something. He said, like, do you think it's a mom thing? And if it's a mom thing, like, do you think you're doubting yourself because of you're now a mom? And if it's a mom thing, you've never been a mom before. So it's not like you understand, like, you've never done this before. You understand? And I really thought a lot about that. Like, am I doubting myself now because I'm a mom? Because now I'm doubting myself in that field.
Yeah.
Am I now doubting myself in every other field? You understand? Because now I'm like, And I think when he mentioned that you've never been a mom before. So give yourself a little
a working
bit.
mom before, balancing deadlines,
exactly.
projects.
So give yourself a little bit of grace. Like, you've never done this before. And I think for me, I think it's really stuck with me. And nowadays, like, every time I think about it, I usually say, like, I've never done this before. I've never been a mom before. I've never been a mom that's working before. So this is the first time, and I need to give myself, like, as much grace, because at the end of the day, there's also pressure to do well in both fields. You want to be a good mom, but you also want to be able to afford the life that you want to afford for your child and for your family. And I think now, when you mentioned about, like, how success looks like, for me, it's not just, it's more like, now you're thinking about another person. It's, if I become like an MD tomorrow, or if I become like a senior manager tomorrow, or whatever, how will it impact my child? Both positively and negatively. So, like, every time, I never thought I'd be that type of person. You get something new to do, and then you're like, okay, pros and cons, but with baby in the picture.
With baby in the middle.
Yes, with baby in the middle. Then you weigh the pros, you weigh the cons, and then you make a decision based on baby. Yeah. It's interesting. I never thought I would ever be in like this position, but again, I am so glad that I never judged any mom who did that, because then I would have judged
after becoming a mom that I stopped judging.
Because I feel like if I would have judged like a mom, like, who maybe left their job to take care of the baby and things like that, then I would have been harder on myself, because I would have been like, you cannot afford to do this, you can never do this, but like the moment you put it, like, you have like a very open mind and you're thinking to yourself, this could actually be me. And I don't want to beat myself up when that becomes me.
But now the other thing I see people do is compare women that, but si huyu alifanya.
Yeah.
Woko si huyu ako na tuta tano na ako there in sijui where.
Yeah.
Si alifanya.
But they are not me, and I'm not them.
Hivyo?
I'm not them.
So how do
different.
we control our mindset when it comes to that? Because we all want. Imagine, I think it's rare that I meet a woman who just doesn't want to do anything with her life.
Yeah.
And if they're there, I'm so sorry for them, but I do respect their decisions, but I'm still very sorry for them. Most women these days want to go out. We analeta so, nitaleta 20 bob yangu, we move forward. So how do you put strength into this woman who's feeling like she's actually failing? She's trying, but she can't.
I think for me, I really have to like intentionally remind myself every day that I am a me kind of mom. I'm not a you kind of mom. I'm not an every other person kind of mom.
I like that concept. I'm a me kind of mom.
I'm a me kind of mom. Like probably some of the things you would do, I would not be able to do. And there's some things I would do that you would not be able to
that
do.
Is true.
So I'm a me kind of mom. Like there's like I know like some moms would be comfortable like moving to a different town or a different city and leaving their child with their nannies.
Yeah.
And I respect that. But I'm not that kind of a mom. And I also expect people to respect that.
To respect you to respect for being
me
you.
For being me. Exactly. Like if you tell me, hey, but si nani aliacha mtoto wake? Uyo ni yeye. That is her. That is her, and I respect her for that, because I also know, like now as a mom, I know how difficult that must have been for them to do that. That decision must have been. So I'm a me kind of mom. I think that's usually my motto. Every time someone says, but mtoto wako ata survive, and this is what I usually say, mtoto wako ata survive, but then Anita, do I want my child to just survive or thrive? Because someone
that
would
should
say
be on another t-shirt. What do I want my child to? And I like that you brought that concept of my child thriving. I've realized parenting is so different nowadays.
Yeah,
you have to intentionally do things like bedtimes. Yenye sisi hatukufanyiwa. Ulikuwa unaekewa slap moja, unajipeleka bedroom.
Nimesema ulale. Bado mtu akiongea hapo.
You get. But we are intentionally raising our kids.
Yeah.
So what would you like your kid to see? You as a working mom, what would you like your kid to see from this whole engagement and still be present in her life as her mom?
I think for me, I would like my baby to know, and especially because I'm raising a girl, I would like my girl to know that it's okay to choose yourself.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that everything around you should crumble.
Yeah.
Even after you choose yourself.
Yeah.
You can balance, but not like at the expense of everyone or everything.
Yeah.
Yes. There's only like, there are things that matter, but like something could matter today but not matter tomorrow.
Or even 5 minutes from now.
Exactly. So I would like for them, or I would love for them to know that you can go for what you want. You can get what you want, but at the end of the day, not at the expense of yourself, not at the expense of your family, not at the expense of your home. That's what I would say. And when someone says something like, like hutaki kuacha mtoto nyumbani na ukikufa, nikikufa, my child will, and she'll survive because I will not be there.
Yeah.
But while I'm here, while I'm still here, let her survive. But why would
someone say something like that? Why are we talking about dead parents?
But you see, I think the thing is, especially like with now the working mom thingy, there's so much like pressure from society for you to be all over everything. The place. Yeah, to be everything. You need to like, again, bring your 20 bob back home.
Yes.
You also don't want to be sitting. And I think maybe this comes from like a point of trauma. You don't want to be sitting and someone providing for you again. Because, you also want to have your own.
It depends with also your background.
Yeah, that's why I said, it comes from a point of trauma. Yeah, because for me, I think it was a bit different. And one of the reasons that I really want to work is because my dad died when I was very young. So I saw my mom providing. So according to me, in my head, a woman should provide for their home. In my head. You understand? Because like that's what I saw.
But you see, that is because your dad was absent.
Yes, I understand that. I understand that perspective. But you see, for me, I grew up with a working mom. So for me, I also remember growing up, my mom, my mom was a teacher. I remember the other day telling my mom, I wish I was a teacher, because every holiday we were always together. Yeah. Every public holiday we were together. August, April, December we were together and things like that. I remember telling her, I wish I was a teacher, because then maybe I would be spending more time with my child and things like that. Yeah, so I think maybe me, it comes from a point of trauma that I never want, I want to also be able to take care and provide and take care of my child. Yes, in a situation where, God forbid, I'm left alone, or I am alone due to circumstance of life, I also want to be able to just comfortably provide for my child by myself. Yeah,
I do agree to that. But Mimi, okay, again, upbringings are different. Now, for me, of course, I didn't grow up with a working mom per se, and I started working when I was around 17 years old. Yeah. Now, for me, the concept is very different. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. I believe my child is fully, 100%, my husband's responsibility. Yeah. I will chip in here and there if needed, but
yeah. And I think it's interesting because when you think about it that way, it really like goes down to like upbringing and things like that, like how you grew up and all that. Because I know, like, for families that their dad was like sole provider or used to take care of everything, then when they get married, they also expect like their husband to take care of everything. And then there are some families where maybe your dad was never a provider or there was never a dad in the picture, and then you're married now and you're like, yes, now that I'm married, I grew up without a dad. Now this dad needs to take care of everything. And then now there's now like maybe someone like me who now, like, because I realize, and I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I realize, like, when I map out my child's future, I usually, in my head, I'm usually like, I need to do this for them to get this. I need to do this for. It's never like we need to do this. In my head.
No, I get it.
Maybe when we have a conversation, it will be like, maybe this is the school we want our child to go to, this is the life we want our child to live. But in my head, I'm usually like, I need to get this done. I need to get this done. I need to make sure that my child does this. I need to make sure that this happens, and so on and so forth. I think it's like from a point of trauma or upbringing.
I do understand. We all respond differently, and it's okay. Like you said, you are a you. I'm also a me. We are learning this thing the first time.
Exactly.
When it comes back to work, what is a boundary you've set since becoming a mother that was not there before, but now you're like, guys, I am a mom. Mama Sita, I am a mom. So what is a boundary you had to renegotiate, even if it's with your boss? Tell him, this has to be set so that I can work fully and presently.
I think, and let me just give like a random example. A few months back, I had to travel out of town for work. And I remember having a conversation with my boss, and I said, I'm not leaving my child, so I will have to go with my child. And
she's
also
still young, dependent on me.
Yes, and they factored all that in. So even in the flights and everything, they factored her in the accommodation as well. They factored her and her nanny in. So for me, I think that's like
to link to apply jobs.
I think for me, like, that's like one of the things that they know is that my child will come first.
Yes.
Always. I'll deliver, I'll do whatever you want me to do, or whatever is expected, not whatever you want me to do. I'll do whatever is expected of me. But at the end of the day, my child comes first. So if like someone calls and says, okay, your child, there's something wrong at home, they know I'll pack my bags and just go home, and they respect that. Yes. And they respect that. And for me, like, it's not at the expense of my work. Like, I'll do what is expected of me. I'll do what they expect of me, and I'll take care of my responsibilities, and I'll do my role as expected. But also, I expect them to give me that grace. And I've also seen it because, like, nowadays, especially like when there's something they're doing like in the evenings, they'll just like throw it at me and be like, would you like to come? But not, you must come, or make sure you come. It's like, would you like to come? Would you like a little break? Or like, if you're open, or they'll say something like, okay, we are going for dinner at XYZ. If you'd like to come, you're like, we're happy to have you. Yeah, we'll be happy to have you. Yeah, I think that. And then another thing, I think I wouldn't say it's only just on the work front. I would say it's generally. I think I don't take bullshit, if I can use that word, because again, I'm raising a girl, and babies are sponges. They don't learn. They don't learn through you telling them, do not allow someone to talk down on you. Do not allow. They learn by seeing. And now for me, it's very important for my child to see from even her age. I'm sure she probably doesn't understand right now, but it's important for me to have those boundaries and to have those, like, uphold my values, so that even as she grows up, she'll know that someone is not supposed to talk to you like that and you accept it. Someone is not supposed to do this to you and you accept it. You can actually put your foot down and say, no, I won't do this, or this doesn't align with my values and I'm not going to do it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. They actually do observe a lot from what we do.
Yeah.
Now, were you financially prepared for what came after being a mom?
Let me say yes.
Did you save before as you were working? Did you pile up your leave days? Did you plan financially towards becoming a mom, a working mom?
Let me say yes and no.
Yes and no.
Let me tell you why I'll say.
Let me tell you why. Pregnant. You did not know there's a baby coming.
Let me tell you why I'm saying yes and no. I would say yes. In my head, the resources that I had were enough to take care of the baby. Then the baby came.
Then ukachapwa na butwa.
Then nikachapwa na butwa. This was me. This was butwa. Yes. So this was me. That's why I'm saying. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it's. I don't know. I was prepared, but I wasn't really prepared. When the actual this was expectations versus reality.
Yeah.
So I was prepared. In my head, I knew I was prepared. I knew these are the projections. You see, monthly projection expenses for baby. You have the projected expenses, monthly projected expenses for nanny, for house, for everything. But then reality comes, and I remember before I had a baby. Every time I would go somewhere with a friend of mine who's a mom, or who's a mom or who's running a house, they would always be shopping. There's just milk.
That was me. You actually asked me one time.
I remember asking you one time, what are you always shopping? And let me tell you, I think when you start running a fully functional home, because initially it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're not in the house for lunch. So you find mafuta when you buy 5 liters, it stays. Gas, it stays. So many things, some things you even forget, kwani tunakwanga na hii kitu, but now that you're running a fully functional house that has to run on 3 meals and 2 snacks every day, fruit every day, fruits for everyone, for the family and for you, snack or tea after dinner, I don't know what. So every day, there's no day as a mom, I can count the number of days as a mom that you go back home empty-handed, just with your bag, and
possible. It's
very hard because it's usually mama Lulai, hakuna tomatoes ziliisha, hakuna hii imeisha, hii imeisha. There's always something you're buying
that I have
every
a grocery
day.
list waiting for me after.
Exactly. There's always something that I think those are some of the things you don't really think about before. And in your head, you're I'm well prepared. I have a cushion, I have this, I have that. But then when it actually happens, and then you just sit down and think to yourself, what the helly?
What the helly belly?
What the helly? Yeah.
Now, has motherhood changed how you look at your long-term financial goals?
Yes, it has.
What have you amended?
I think for me, one thing I'm really big on right now, especially, is making sure that I secure a future for my child. Yes. In case of any eventuality, I want them to be taken care of. I think that's one of the things. I'm constantly thinking to myself, how can I make an extra cent? My aunt usually says sumuni, ukwe na kasumuni mahali
kando.
Exactly. How do I make an extra sumuni to be able to keep it aside and say, this is for Lula, this is for my baby, so that in case of anything, they're covered. So you're putting money everywhere. Hata kama ni thou, unafanya something here, you get 1,000 bob, you get 200 bob, you think to yourself, okay, do I need to, let me put this, let me put this here, let me put this here, let me put this there. And I think for me, I never really thought, you don't think things through like that before you have a child. But then now when you have a child, you're thinking, okay, so if anything happens today,
what will happen to them?
What will happen to my child?
Will they be comfortable?
Exactly.
I think for me, one of the things I picked up was life insurance, education policy. These things when we're being told.
Yeah.
But I have episodes on this, on insurance, on I have a whole financial lens. When someone tells you, my dear, you're 22, please take a life policy. Just take one. You think, will I really need it?
I don't think I
really need it. When your child comes, then you realize hakuna mtu akifika huko high school unaanza kuomba pesa ya school fees. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
you have to take care of your child from akwe mdogo all the way up. And for me, that was such a, I don't know how to put it. It was such a, I am a mom moment.
Yeah. And I think for me, even me, I think for me, like taking an education policy, I think for me it was that kind of thing. Because I'm looking at, and then when you look at most of these policies, the payout starts when, like, the older the child gets, the now sasa hapo ndo payouts inaanza kukuja. And when you think about it, like, it actually makes sense for you to, like, put that money aside. Of course, you'll be putting, like, maybe other monies aside, but it's good to, like, put that money aside and say, this is dedicated to XYZ. And I remember someone telling me what they did for their child education policy is they went to the school they want their child to go to. They found out how much school fees it costs. So they curated an education policy to match that.
And to match inflation, if ever happens.
So for them, it's
wow.
It's and when you think about it, like things like trust funds and things like that, you know, like that's how you build, like, generational wealth for your child, because, like, you can put it in such a way that money, like, I don't know exactly how this works, but, like, from what I understand, like, the way a trust fund would look like, or the way, like, these policies work is not all money comes out at once. Like, it's you'll use whatever, like, for maybe a trust fund, you'll use whatever is required of you to use, and then, like, it can be locked or set in such a way that maybe this money haitawahi toka, the principal amount haitawahi toka. So, like, it will be used by the next person and the next person and the next person. And when you think about it, that's also somewhat how, like, generational wealth works. You can, like, invest X amount of money and say all the interest goes towards, like, funding my child's life, or, like, funding my child's education. Then, like, the principal will remain. Then your child will be like, oh, okay, so there's this, like, 100 million in that account. For me, I'll invest an additional 50 million, so that now that fund funds the other person's child. So at the end of the day, the principal amount will remain the same, but then, like, money will keep on adding on, and interest will keep on piling on.
These are the things we need to learn, and we need to to actually accept, especially as Africans. Kitu ya kuinvest, your investment ni kuzaa mtoto, and then you're like, that child will take care of me.
Because I think for me, like, one of the reasons I'm looking out for my child's future is because I don't want my child to be the one to take care of me. I want to be the one to take care of my child. I want that when my child tells me, it ends with me.
It ends with us.
Yes, because I don't want, like, and I'm not doing it sadly. I understand that this, like, the situation maybe for me was different because, of course, my dad died when my mom was still very young. And when I think about it, like, my dad died actually when my mom was younger than I am right now. My mom was, I think, 30 when my dad died, and she had a child, and my dad had just taken her back to school. So life hit her.
It hit
her like her, exactly. And you see, for me, like, just because that was my reality, like, I would like to work towards it not being my baby's reality. If anything, I want my child to be coming to me and being like, okay, so I want to invest this amount of money, and I have X, and I need Y. So that I can tell her, how, okay, so you have this amount of money, let me give you this amount of money so that you can invest and do whatever you need. Like, I don't want them to be my cushion. I want me to be their cushion. Exactly.
On that note, for me, one policy I live with is that I don't want my child to ever start from zero. That is, it's just a no for me. I don't want that ever for my child. Are you facing the classic working parent equation? Salary versus childcare costs, and how are you navigating that?
I would say I am somewhat, but I think how that works is, I think for me, what I'm trying to do right now is, because I know money will never be enough. No matter how much money you have or you get, it will never be enough. So I think for me, it's trying to live within my means, of course, while also making sure that your child is well taken care of. Si ati sasa mtakuwa mnakula skuma every day because now you want to live within your means and all that. But also trying to find ways of making, like, extra income, and then now maybe now investing this extra income on top of whatever else you're putting aside, because what that does is it gives you also a sort of a cushion that in case your job ends tomorrow, like, what do you have? Do you have, like, an extra source of income? And it could be even 5K. Like, you have, like, something you usually do and you get, like, an extra 5K. So this 5K, you say, okay, I'm going to put this extra here and this extra there, or, like, And I think another thing that sort of works for me in terms of like also cost saving is trying to do like bulk buying, especially for baby things like diapers and things like that. You realize that when you bulk buy, it becomes a bit cheaper or a bit more affordable as compared to like walking in the store like every other day and buying. I would say that.
What do you wish was more normalized for moms in corporate or entrepreneurial spaces?
I think the grace that I have right now, every mom deserves it. Grace. Yeah, every mom deserves it. Like when I think about it, I think maternity leave should even be like 2 years.
You know,
because I remember
actually I could just go to parliament and ask for that, because honestly, I'm just starting. My child just turned 2. It's now that I'm starting to feel like myself, to even think like myself. Continue.
And I remember like for me, for instance, my boss told me that these first 2 years, give as much grace to yourself as possible, because like these first 2 years are very crucial. They're very crucial, and then you're also rediscovering yourself and all that. So you could like don't also put yourself like under too much pressure, because they're very they're very crucial, especially to your child. And I feel like every new mom or every entrepreneur or every self-employed mom should have that grace. Like just like
bear with me.
Don't kill yourself.
Bear with me, people. I am doing my best.
Exactly.
Please.
I'm doing my best. I'm really doing my best. And for me, I used to think like mommy brain was like a myth, but it actually is a thing. I remember how forgetful I was when I went back to work. I was so forgetful. I could forget the most basic of things. Like something as simple as you have a meeting at 2. I would just be sitting on my desk,
and then you
and then someone calls me and tells me, we have a meeting. I'm like,
what meeting?
Oh, there's a meeting.
Let me tell you, when it comes to mommy brain, for me, I didn't, and I say this with so much grace. I think becoming a mom made me dumber. With so much grace. Unasahau vitu.
And that's what I'm telling you. Like,
jina yako.
You know, when someone asks you, is it a mom thing? Like, is this a mom? Is this you a mom thing?
I don't know. I gave half my brain to my baby. No wonder she's so smart.
I know.
I gave half my baby. You know, you forget things. I remember the moment it hit me, I was explaining to someone. I was like, unajua tunajenga nyumbani. There's tumeba hiki tu square, hiki tu tunaweka hivi ndio, hiki tu. I couldn't name a brick. I literally couldn't name a brick.
You know what? Like,
it was
sometimes
so
you
hard.
get like such moments, and then you're like,
So we were students.
I know.
We were, sisi ndio tulikuwa tunasema mashairi za president.
I know.
You're like, hey,
what is this? And I remember, like, for me, when it hit me, I was like, okay, like, am I? Like, was I even, like, you start asking yourself, like, was I even intelligent to begin with? Like, how did I get here? You know, like, I remember, like, after I came back from maternity leave, and then, like, I was given out the new role, I was like,
okay,
why are you people giving me this? Like, do you guys know I'm in the ghetto? I'm in the pits.
I don't
like,
know.
do you even believe? Do you even, like, are you even trusting that I'll be able to do
this? Half my brain is not even here, first of all.
Exactly.
The other half, I'm battling a quarter for my child, and the other quarter trying to figure out what food they're eating.
Exactly. Yeah.
As we are here on Rare View, what's your Rare View on motherhood right now?
I think, and I love being a mom. So disclaimer.
We love being moms. It's the best thing that has ever happened to us. We love our babies. They're the cutest.
I really love being a mom, and I enjoy being a mom. But I don't think people talk about like what motherhood really entails. Like the depth of it, the nitty-gritties, like the depth of it and all that. It's usually like very glamorized and very, like, people don't really talk about that. And I think it's also the expectations of society, because they think, si kama kuna mtu mwingine alifanya, like, what's your excuse? Exactly, like, what's your excuse? And I think my take on motherhood is you really need like a very strong support system. And when I talk support system, I even talk a nanny. You don't need like a nanny who's stressing you. Now you're just sitting there thinking, oh my God. And for me, I usually say, when I pray, I also pray for my nanny, because I pray for God to give her wisdom. I pray for God to give her patience, because at the end of the day, whatever, like, babies are sponges. So she's absorbing everything from everyone around her. So you pray for like wisdom, you pray for patience, because you know she's human. So you also pray for patience, for her to be patient while taking care of your child. And when I also pray for her, because she's also a mom, I pray that wherever her child is, that her child is also well taken care of. Because you know it's a sacrifice that she has made to come and help me, take care of my child.
There was this, talking of that, there was this, there was a, not a show, like an experiment where people were doing a questionnaire for nannies, the babies, and the moms. So the baby would, they would ask the child like, what's your favorite color? The nanny would say pink. The mom would be like, is it white? Then they would ask the baby, what's your favorite food? The nanny would say, oh, she likes chicken soup. The mom would be like, oh, chapati. Then they ask again the baby, what's your best friend? The nanny is like, definitely Maria, but we broke up with Raquel last week. The mom is like, is it Mary? Then guys were judging, you know, these moms have left their homes for nannies to run, that they don't know their kids. Then someone came up with another concept. Can you ask these nannies about their own children? Do they know anything about their own children?
Probably don't.
Because they are also a working mom. Exactly. So the same grace you're extending to this nanny for knowing everything about my child. Remember even her Paliuko?
She's extending grace to someone.
She's extending grace to someone else.
And that's why I say I view my nanny as my co-parent. So we have to be very in sync on so many things. Sometimes she knows things that Lulai knows, like the things that she says. Like nowadays she has these things where this thing where she says, Asha. Like when she hears like maybe a motorbike or something passing, or like a bus passing, because normally like there's the buses that do like the school drop-offs and pickups. So like the first time she said, Asha, I thought she was saying like Sasa. Then her auntie was like, no, she's saying like Asha. Yeah. And for me, I choose not to look at it as, oh my God, I don't know what's going on in my child's life. I choose to look at it as, imagine you have some support and you have someone who can even tell you that. And the thing I also love about like, and the reason why I call her more of a co-parent is because I love how she updates me. Even when I call home maybe to check up on something, she usually says, Lula, here's the phone, come talk to mommy. Like she does that thing where she does that a lot. Like every time I call home maybe to ask about something, she'll be like, talk to Lula, here's Lula, talk to her. And that's why like when you view her as a co-parent, and she's your employee, yes, but you also need to understand that it's like a relationship. And I usually see that sometimes when she's also seeing that I'm struggling a bit with work and everything, she'll be like, Lula, come, let's go outside, or come, let's
Let me tell you, having a good nanny is the best blessing in the world. Now, as we wrap this up, I have one last question for you. What's an outdated stereotype mindset that you would like to erase, or you would like most moms to leave behind when it comes to work and home and success?
I think if I understood that question correctly, I feel like you can have it all.
Can you really
in
have
whatever in whatever sense that means to you, you can have it all. In whatever sense that means to you. I think there's something my aunt told me, and she said something like, so I was having a conversation with my aunt, and she told me she made her first million at 50.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she made her first million at 50. And she told me she felt like she sacrificed like most of her like youth taking care of her kids. But now when she thinks about it, it wasn't really a sacrifice in the sense of, okay, now I'm starving to death and I have to sacrifice myself completely and give myself completely. She was also moving and growing in her own little ways and in her own little leaps. So you can have it all in whatever little way that looks like. It doesn't have to be you are like a director in a company or something like that, and then also you have this other side figured out, and then you have like all this other. So you can have it all in whatever form that is, because you can have it all in this sense. I have a comfortable, steady job that at least takes care of myself, my family, and my child. But I also have a nanny who is very supportive. That's having it all in that sense. In this other side, on this other side, you have, like a supportive partner. That's also having it all. So like you can have it all in whatever like however that looks for you. It doesn't have to be like in the biggest extremes, like in whatever little way you can have it all.
Wow, that was such a deep conversation. I feel like we've talked and talked and talked, and we could continue upping.
Yeah.
But now that's a wrap on that. Your last parting shot to that mom who is struggling right now with work.
I would say
you don't even know what to say.
Let me say it gets better in this sense. With every passing milestone, with every passing day, you continue to find yourself better and you continue to figure things around. So it doesn't get better like yourself. I don't think there's any mom or that ever sits and thinks, wow, I'm a perfect mom. My job is perfect. Like I'm doing perfectly all round. But then I think it gets better in that step day by day, things just keep falling into place and you keep like finding routines and finding rhythms and even finding the people to help you and support you. So remember not to lose yourself. It's easier said than done, but like do things that give you like little pockets of joy here and there so that you can always also be fully present for yourself and for your family as well. And you've got this. Yes.
Well, I would say hire all the help in the world. And that's it for our episode today on the invisible load of motherhood. Thank you so much for coming.
I really enjoyed this conversation.
You've enjoyed it?
Yeah.
I was balancing
it felt like therapy.
It felt like
it felt like therapy.
Okay, thank you guys. Don't forget to always share this with a friend who would love to hear it. Until next time, this is the Review Podcast. Bye.